Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, wealthspinning.blogspot.com, a free site. Today is July 14th, 2023. Nothing I say in this video, and I mean nothing, should be construed as investment advice. I want everyone here to do their own due diligence. I'm simply sharing what I'm considering or pursuing. Right? Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, not every investment environment is equal. Not every investment opportunity is equal. There are a few things that might stand out in this current climate, which I consider to be a bear market rally. Right? To be blunt, I think real estate is looking at a steep drop from here. Right? I'm not a believer in leveraged markets. I believe certain parts of the commercial real estate market are in trouble. Right? The office market is in trouble because I believe workers want to work from home, at least many of them do, right? It helps with childcare. Some people are more productive from home. No one talks about that. People are realizing now that jobs are really just a 3 to 5 year phenomenon, that you're not going to be working at the same company for 40 years, as an older generation did, on their way to a pension and a gold watch, right? So people don't want the investment and don't want the office politics of even getting to know their coworkers that well, right? When you're at home, you have an opportunity to focus on the task at hand. You're not around a water cooler hearing a lot of gossip. You're not the subject of gossip around the water cooler, right? Familiarity, as they say, breeds contempt. So in this environment, while there are certain stocks that I love, right, I believe you need to know when a major event has happened that creates an asymmetrical opportunity that could go up exponentially and could provide you passive income for years, right? That is not taxable until you sell the asset. The court's ruling on the dueling motions for summary judgment in the XRP litigation has set up a situation where altcoins have never had this much credibility. Right? Understand the court's ruling, and of course the SEC could very well appeal the ruling. If it does, I think it would do so simply to strengthen its hand in settlement talks with Ripple. But just understand, the ruling is a game changer because the court seems to be saying here that transactions involving retail investors, not institutional investors, but retail investors who acquire digital assets through a bid and ask blind type system where no representations are made about the qualities of the digital asset involved. Those transactions are not deemed the sale of unregistered securities, right? If you're selling a digital asset and you do so in a bid and ask system, this court's decision seems to suggest that as long as the people buying it are retail investors. As long as you're not making a direct sale to an institutional investor, that you're not required to register that digital asset. If you make direct sales to institutional investors, and this is an important part of the XRP decision, right, then of course you are engaged in the sale of a unregistered security, and you need to register that security with the SEC. Now, I discuss this on my Substack page, Dwyer70905.substack.com. I'm not going to go too much in depth here out of an allegiance to paid subscribers, right? But what I want young people in particular to consider, and what I want people looking for that opportunity to invest in something that could really reward them several times over in the future, that might be able to pay for a child's college education down the road, right? That might open up a investment reality that working in a 9 to 5 might not be able to do for you. What I want people to do here is to look long and hard at a way to invest in Ethereum, right? Really the granddaddy, one of the granddaddies of altcoins, right? A bedrock to the DeFi world, right? Look at a way to invest in Ethereum, and of course, look at a way to invest in Bitcoin, right? Understand this ruling is a bonanza for Bitcoin because it confirms that Bitcoin, the peer-to-peer transactions done in a bid and ask environment, are not the sales of unregistered securities, right? And understand Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, already had made statements while the head of the SEC, not during his professorship, but while the head of the SEC, that he considered Bitcoin to be a commodity, not a security, right? Just understand this is a bonanza for Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin, of course, much more decentralized. It's proof of work, much more decentralized than these proof of stake coins. And Bitcoin, unlike these altcoins, has already been accepted officially by the government in El Salvador, for example, as legal tender, right? Just food for thought. Understand there is a way, if you are uncomfortable with owning your own keys, and what I'm going to say is heresy to many, right? Because you know the ethos of the digital asset world is not your keys, not your crypto, right? But understand, if you're a senior citizen, if you're someone who is a single parent raising multiple kids who doesn't have time to figure out how to use, a online digital asset wallet, or to keep your keys yourself and to deal with a Treasure or Ledger wallet, right? Let's make this easy for you. You can buy Ethereum. You can buy Bitcoin without an Ethereum ETF or a Bitcoin ETF legally from your brokerage account by buying the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, right? You want to type this out, the Grayscale Ethereum Trust and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. The way these trusts are set up is that they're holding Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Right? You're buying a share of the trust that's holding the actual digital asset. You can do so legally right now. Right? And understand, it's as easy as buying a stock on brokerage exchanges like Schwab. The kicker is that even now, and this is rapidly closing because markets adjust. Markets take care of mispricings in the long term. Right now, you're getting around a 20% discount on the value of the underlying digital assets by buying the Grayscale Ethereum Trust and by buying the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Right? You don't have to worry about custody issues. Grayscale is regulated, right? Grayscale has had to jump through hoops to get the Grayscale Ethereum Trust and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust on the market, right? They're regulated. So what buying both would do for you is it gives you two of the marquee digital assets, exposure to them, right? You'll have to pay a management fee, but the management fee is nominal. Please research it. But you'll then be able to get exposure to Ethereum and Bitcoin just like you would be buying and selling stocks. And let me just tell you, understand, if the SEC grants the currently pending Bitcoin ETF applications from financial blue blood outfits like Fidelity and BlackRock, then you can imagine almost overnight the SEC is going to allow Grayscale to convert its Ethereum Trust and Bitcoin Trust into an Ethereum ETF and a Bitcoin ETF. Right? You'll immediately realize the gap that exists right now between what these trusts are selling for and their net asset value. In other words, you'll get the 20% upside plus the ongoing appreciation in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Right? So use this opportunity. The market is moving fast right now. Bitcoin is over $30,000 a digital asset. And folks, we're still in the early innings. Understand the halving is scheduled to happen next April or May or so. Right? Understand, the Bitcoin miner community is thriving. They just had a quarter of record income. Right? Don't take 6 months. Don't waste the next 6 months on the sideline being tentative, thinking to yourself, I need to learn about, cold wallets. I need to learn about Ledger before I invest in Bitcoin. Right? I need to learn about Treasure before I invest in Bitcoin. I need to figure out how to self-custody. Please, don't be that person. In these times where things are exploding, where a court ruling has just dropped, where the market now is starting to realize the capability of these digital assets, where you understand as a retail investor, you're not at risk, at least not at the same level of risk as you were before the court's ruling yesterday in the XRP lawsuit. Right? The court has told the people, and again, this could be appealed. The court has decided that retail investors buying digital assets in a bid and ask setup are not involved in the sale of unregistered securities. Right? So the next 6 months are going to have explosive growth in several digital assets, among them Ethereum and Bitcoin. Right? As you do your due diligence on Ethereum and Bitcoin, my recommendation is that you buy at least one share of the Grayscale Ethereum Trust and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Understand, that one share is going to cost you $25 or less, right? I'm not saying buy one Ethereum for $2,000 plus now, or one Bitcoin for over $30,000 now. No. You can keep your money in the bank. You just want the one share in your account so you can check on it daily and you can see the upside growth. You can see the passive income you're making while you research and figure out how to eventually self-custody. Right? Understand, you can have exposure without being a full-blown expert. And of course, if after buying that one share, you notice that this is one of the best investments in your portfolio, then you can scale up in accordance with your evolving comfort level. Don't let this opportunity pass. The court has opened up the doors to this digital gold rush. You don't get these opportunities that often. Right? If you are uncomfortable with self-custody, if you don't think you know enough to, do things yourself, to buy the right cold wallet, to, figure out the right exchange, if you're a little bit gun shy by the tense relationship between the SEC and Coinbase, if you heard about Kraken settlement with the SEC and that makes you a little bit gun shy, if you're afraid to deal with, such exchanges, take a hard look at GBTC in your brokerage account. That's the symbol for the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And ETHE, that's a symbol for the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Right? What I would do before going into my brokerage account is I would look up these investment vehicles. I would look up the history. I would do some research on Grayscale itself, right? Multi-billion-dollar outfit. And then I would take the plunge, right? In a way where I'm only buying one share of each in the very short term, so I can observe those shares while I do further research and increase my comfort level. Right? This is a huge opportunity. Right? Don't be a cautious Nelly and have it pass without making moves. Right? I'm just telling you, and it'll shock some people, right? I know I've made video here on crypto in the past, going back several years. Google me. I know I have made videos here on the general stock market. Right? Bitcoin is that rare investment vehicle that, in my opinion, will likely at least double over the next year. Right? There are many compelling stock plays right now. I know many of you are excited by AI and are putting money into NVIDIA, even though that stock is very expensive, and are finding other ways to play what looks like an AI boom, right? I'm just telling you, NVIDIA pales in comparison to the value proposition being offered right now by Bitcoin, right? People don't quite understand the value that the monetary system has, and they don't understand that you cannot manipulate Bitcoin like you can fiat currency, right? Let me say this too. You've heard that the federal government came down hard on Russia after its invasion of the Ukraine, right? Did certain things with the SWIFT banking system to lock Russia out from access to some of its um, assets, some of its accounts receivable. Um, just understand, such actions have placed the United States' status as the world reserve currency at risk. Just understand that XRP, figure out what these altcoins do, that XRP actually is a rival to the SWIFT banking system. That's how big XRP is, right? If you remove the regulatory uncertainty from that altcoin in the United States, and of course, you need to realize that these digital assets are international, right? XRP has a very vibrant international presence, but the US market is a big market. If you remove the regulatory uncertainty, the clouds hanging over XRP in the United States, I'm just telling you that many players internationally in financial markets will want to use the XRP system as an alternative to the SWIFT banking system, right? Many of the world's biggest banks already use XRP, right? What we're talking about here is a ruling yesterday that has opened up many doors, has given many digital assets, many, more credibility than they have ever had. I still expect the SEC to insist that these altcoins settle with the SEC from their direct sales to institutional investors. And let's be clear here, right? The digital asset world has a lot of institutional investors. Think Andreessen Horowitz. Think Pantera Capital, right? There are a lot of institutional investors involved in the space. I would encourage people to just Google Hedera's site, and you're going to see a lot of corporate entities involved in the development of Hedera, right? There will be a slew of settlements. My point to you is there's going to be an avalanche, not the crypto, but figuratively, there's going to be an avalanche of passive income that's going to be rolling through the digital asset world over the next 6 months, right? If you feel uncomfortable with self-custody, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and I'm someone who does self-custody. I'm in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust because if they're going to give me, a few weeks ago, believe it or not, the discount to net asset value was well over 30%. If they're going to give me 30% on the top on an underlying digital asset that I believe in, I'll be the huckleberry. So I'm in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I'm in the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Understand, Ethereum in many ways is the backbone of decentralized finance, right? By the way, decentralized finance is much bigger than any of us realize, right? I'll deal with topics like that. I have dealt with many of these topics on my Substack page. I encourage you to give that a look. Just know here that you don't have to be Einstein. If you're comfortable trading stocks in a brokerage account, right, there's no harm in looking at and researching GBTC, that's the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, right? Please don't confuse this with Bitcoin futures ETFs like BITO, right? That's a different thing entirely. Look at GBTC and look at ETHE, right? Consider buying one share of both. I'm just telling you that initial outlay of less than $50 total, right, for one share of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and one share of the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, for less than $50, you'll have skin in the game. You'll have an incentive to actually look at the price moves, to figure out what your comfort level is, and to increase your exposure as your comfort level adjusts. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I understand Bitcoin maximalists disagree with me. Please Google Bitcoin maximalism. Look at their side of the argument, right? I also hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.